Restart. Please. Elise.
Yep, we're live. We're ready to go. Let's wait for a few more people to join us here, but we are currently live.
Hello, you can say hi to us if you're here.
Hi, everyone.
Wait just
Hi, Victor.
more. Hello, yeah. Hello, Victor. Let's wait like 2 more minutes and then we can start. Okay, I believe you can start, right? Let me share my screen so I can share with you what we are going to cover today in this live. Yep. I am here, Filipe Névola. Renan Castro is also here from Meteor team, and Elise is also here. Elise is kind of hidden here, but she's also here. Sometimes you're going to hear her voice.
Hi, everyone.
Yeah, this is Elise. Okay. Elise, can you put my screen? Yes, thank you. So first, let me just share what we're going to do here. So the presentation I just did, and I'm going to start showing a little bit about a new package that Meteor is going to provide to you. That's called Accounts Passwordless. And also I will explain briefly how to use it. And then we are going to create an example from scratch. I'm going to get a Tailwind example that you have already public in our examples repo. And I'm going to use this package so you can create. The idea is simple. Like you have a simple form where people can put the email, and they're going to request access. So they receive a link, and when they click the link, they can authenticate in the system. So that's the simple app that we are going to do from scratch together. And later, Renan is going to start the goal of this presentation is to show you how to create a package. So I'm going to show first how to send an email, and then later Renan is going to do the same but using SMS instead of emails to get the token. So you know the flow that a lot of apps they have today, that you just put your email and receive a code and then you authenticate, or you put your phone and receive a code, you authenticate. So that's the goal of this call here. Okay, so let me hide this script. And where I'm going to start. So I'm going to start this example that we are going to do. First, using our example that's called Tailwind CSS. We are using this example as Tailwind is really easy for us to have a nice UI. So that's why we are using this. And I already have one copy of this in my machine. So my copy is here. Okay, it's running and I can open for you, and you're going to see like it's basically the same example that we have. And you can send questions, by the way, and we are going to try to answer all the questions. So this is a simple example that we have there. So now what I want to do, I want to use the passwordless package. But before that, let me show you that we have a package that's called accounts passwordless React that I'm working on, that I'm going to use in my personal projects as well. So I'm going to show you this implementation because I think this is an easy way for you to understand how you can use this package. So the Meteor package is called accounts passwordless. So don't be confused. Like this one that I'm showing you is a layer on top of the Meteor core package. Why you have this layer? Because the Meteor core package, the idea of the package is just to provide a way to authenticate. But here, I'm also providing a way for you to have a UI with React. So you can also fork this package and create the same UI for Vue, the same UI for Svelte, for Angular, for Blaze. So this is just to display the feature in a nicer way. But let's see how I'm using like accounts here.
Just a thing, Felipe, maybe passwordless is not the more intuitive term, but I think you all get it. What it is like you don't need to remember a password. You're going to enter into the website and get your mail in, then you're getting a token, and you can always authenticate by a token that you receive by SMS or email. Just out of curiosity, the StreamYard platform we are using right now to stream is using the exact same authentication method. So it's really popular right now.
Yeah, I also have this website that's how to create an app, where you can learn how to create an app. That I'm also using already this Meteor package. So you can already see this in action if you want to go to how to create an app.dev and you can authenticate there. You're going to see this in action. Yeah, but let's see. I have a lot of components here, but I'm going to focus in when I'm using the package. So we have like basically two actions that you need to do to use this new Meteor package. The first action, like you need to request a token for the user. So you need to call this method here, request login token for user, and you need to provide a selector. You can think of a selector, anything that can go to the database to retrieve a user. But you have a few like limitations here because we use a method in Meteor that's called find by query. But the idea is that you provide a username or you provide an email. And Renan is also going to show how you can implement this for cell phones, like to send SMS. But that's the important information, like how I select the user. Because if the user does not exist yet, we are going to create the user. And we can also provide extra data for this user that's going to be created. So this user data is going to be like combined with the user data to create a new user. And if you want to like, oh, I don't want to create users, I just want to authenticate users because I want to have a different flow to create users, that's fine as well. We also have an option that for disabling the creation, but this is like a detail that we are going to describe in the documentation later. But just so you know this option, like you can create users or you can just authenticate users. And you can also provide extra options here. This can be important, like if you want to have, for example, here in how to create an app, I have in multiple languages. Like I can use the same website in Portuguese here, as you can see, but I want to send like an email in Portuguese as well. So that's why you have like extra options that you can provide whatever you want. Then you can later take different decisions. So this is the way that I'm doing this. I'm providing an extra option with a language inside. It's just one example. And as everything like in accounts, you can have a callback. And in the callback, we also have like the error object. If you have an error in this process, so you can show a message to your user, you can react the way that you prefer. And you can also decide a few things, for example, if the user is new. So we provide a few data in this callback. So you can at least, for example, show welcome or show a different message in the email that you are going to send. Because remember, the user put the email, you send an email with the code, and then they go back and they authenticate. So that's why we have this callback here. So you can decide like what is going to happen when the user requests a login, a token. Okay, so this is the first part. So this is what happens when I click here and ask for the access. Let me return it to the English version because this is in Portuguese. But this is the first part that happened when I put my email here and I click here. So we are going to call this code here, okay? And later, when you provide the token, like the user is going to click here and, okay, now we have the token. So in this time, we are not going to call the same action because that action is to create like the first email. So I'm going to copy my email here in another screen, and I can copy my token. And when I click sign in, you can see now I am authenticated, welcome message. So this is the second action. Like when I enter the token, I need to call another method of Meteor that's called login with token. So I provide the email because I need to like cross-check, like, okay, this token was provided for the same email that was used before. And I also need to provide the token. This email here is basically the selector. Like you should select here in the same way that you are selecting here, okay? So it's the same idea, and we provide the token. The token is just the token that I typed there, and the user is going to be authenticated. So I'm going to call another function. So these functions are not important. It's just the code for this passwordless package React, but we don't need to. You can do whatever you want here. So if you don't want to use this package, like you want to start from scratch, you can just call first this function to get the token, and then this function to authenticate the user using the token. So like there are a lot of things happening behind the scenes, but you don't need to worry about that. Like you just need to worry about these two functions. And if you want to use this package, that's what we're going to do in a moment, it's even easier because you just need to add this package, and then you can just have this component. Like you don't need to worry about calling a function or calling in a specific way, calling with specific properties, because this React component here is the component that I was just showing to you. So this component is already making the calls. So here we are talking a little bit about the background, like behind the scenes, because we are here to create a package. So I'm explaining how we create a package. But if you don't want to create a package, just want to use it, you can just use this package like this. As simple as that. And you can just provide a way to react, like to change a route, for example, when the user authenticate. Okay? So it's very, very simple. And we are going to do this right now. So what I did already, I got this example with Tailwind, and I copied to my machine. So we have it running here, and we have this example here. So let's remove this data because we don't want to do that. So I'm going to, like we have this app here. Maybe I can keep the title, and I'm going to remove this too. Let's see what happens. Okay, they are not using anymore. It's going to refresh. Okay, I just have now the title. So now what I want to do, I want to install the Meteor package. Let me open another terminal here, and I'm going to Meteor add. This is the name of the package, account passwordless React. And I'm just showing this so you understand like this package. And Renan is going to create a new package with us here to use with SMS. I'm just displaying this so you can understand how it works before we have it in our application. So I'm going to import passwordless from my package. Remember, always when you import a Meteor package, you need to use Meteor / and then the package name. Accounts passwordless React. I'm not using this, so I don't need to have this anymore. And I'm going to include my password here. And as you can see in the package documentation, I also need to provide some way to change the URL. So I'm going to just copy this. And I'm going to put here. And I'm going to copy this part as well. And I'm going to remove this. I'm not going to use React Router here. I'm going to use just like a very simple window location. Maybe it's probably going to refresh the page, but it's okay for our case here. And let's save. Have it running in the other tab. Let's see what you can see. Yeah, we already have like the form, okay? And you can use the form. Let's see if you have a question. If Elise can put the question. Will the React implementation be available in styled components as well? I'm not sure what you're referring. Like styled components is like a framework to style. Right now, this package that I created for my personal apps, you can provide class names, you can provide everything. So you don't need, like, you can use, I think, whatever you want, because if you have class names, you can just provide the class names and you can override everything. And also another question about Blaze. Yeah, we are going to create the new, like, this is just like a personal project that I'm displaying here, but you can also create from the community can create like the Blaze implementation, the Svelte implementation, like the implementation for all the UIs that we will support. And we can also help with that. Like right now that I already have one example, you can basically fork this and just change like everything that is React, you translate to Vue or to Svelte or to Blaze, because they are similar. Like they are not, of course, the same, but they are similar. The idea is the same, and the calls to Meteor are going to be exactly the same. So we have this here. Let's see if this is working. I just include this. And if it is working, it's going to be really cool. I'm going to click here, but I didn't configure an email, so I'm going to see the email here. I'm going to get the code. The code's here, F0. You can see the code here. So we have this code, F010AC, and I'm going to sign in. So I don't know if it works or not, but because I'm just refreshing the page, but you can see here, meteor.user. Yep, it's working. Like I have a user with this email connected here. So the flow is working, but you can improve a little bit. Like I can also use tracker here. So let's check if the user is there or not. So I can import use tracker from Meteor React data or data Meteor React. I never remember this package name, but I think it's
Meteor data.
React Meteor data. Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
I don't know why React Meteor data, but it's okay. So I'm going to get the user here, and I'm going to use the tracker to get my meteor.user. I'm doing this because I want this to be reactive. So when the user is there, it's going to change. I'm kind of refreshing the page, so the experience is not going to be the best experience. Let me import Meteor here. And I'm going to see, like, if I have the user, if I have the user, I'm going to put a div here, and like, you are logged in. And if I don't, I'm going to return my passwordless component. So let's save. Remember, I'm refreshing the page, so the experience is not going to be the best one. Oh, maybe you don't have Meteor React, or Renan is playing with me. Is that the name, Renan?
Now I'm confused. Please check it.
React Meteor data. Yeah, maybe I need to add this package. Maybe that's the case. Let's see. Meteor add. I think it's not in the Tailwind example, maybe. Yeah, it was not here. Okay, now it's going to work. So let's wait for Meteor to refresh as we add a new package. Okay, so let's see. Yeah, you are logged in. So I can log out this user, like meteor.logout. You can see again, and let's try authenticate again. So we have this, and I can get to the code here as well. Just this part, and okay. It's refreshing because I did this terrible code that I'm just changing the location, but it's working. And I think, do we want to do anything else here? Or is this enough for us to change it to your new package implementation, Renan?
Yeah, let's see if we don't have more questions. Then is anybody there? I don't see any activity in the chat.
Yeah, do you have any questions like about this part here? How I'm using this, and maybe it was very confusing because I explained in a package that was using another package that is a new package, and that Renan is going to create another new package later. So maybe that was a little bit confusing.
Yeah, there's a thing that this package that Felipe showed, it's not tied to Tailwind at all. So just class names that are by default there, but you can use it for any other UI components. You don't even need to use Tailwind. So that's why it's not accounts passwordless React Tailwind. So you can use whatever you want. You can name it.
Yeah, here I'm just providing a few Tailwind default classes, but you can override everything. And you can also submit PRs to this package if you want it to be more flexible. Like today, maybe Renan wants to submit a PR to support SMS as well. Let's see. But I think we don't have more questions. We have a little bit of delay, but I don't think we have more questions. I think you can now start the new package. Michael is saying like no sound, but we have sound. Maybe double check your YouTube, but you're not going to listen to me, so I don't know how to to tell you to increase your sound, but we have sound. Go ahead, Renan.
You asked about is being tied to Tailwind, but that's the magic of Tailwind. Everything is beautiful out of the box. So you just give it some classes and configure Tailwind, and it helps us developers that doesn't know styles. But yeah, okay, let's do it then. If you have any questions, just let us know. All right, let me share my screen here. Okay, so a cool thing about this new package we have created is that the passwordless can be sent in whatever
Renan,
media
sorry,
you
can
want
you
it to.
can you increase your font a little bit?
Oh, yeah,
At least
sorry.
for me, it's a little bit small.
Sure. Is it better?
Yeah, much better.
Okay. So let's go. So I was saying that the passwordless thing, you can send it whatever you want. So right now we are going to implement a package that we're going to send that token that Felipe showed by Twilio integration. So I'm going to show you here my account a little bit. So don't be too worried about my token showing the screen because it's on a trial account. Okay. So I'm just going to show you here the dashboard for Twilio because we're going to use it for integration, but you can use whatever you want. So it has this messaging thing that it's really easy to use. So I've set up some things here and did some tests, but if you see here in the dashboard, I have bought a phone number here and it just output me the code that I have to do in my code to send the SMS. So if you see here, we have to import the Twilio library and just send this thing here. Okay, so the cool thing about the passwordless package is that that is really easy to do. Okay, so let's start from the scratch. So we are going to learn some new things here if you have never created a package before. So Meteor has this cool thing I always use to create a package that are our skeletons. So we do dash package using Meteor create, and we can create any package. So I'm going to call it passwordless Twilio SMS. Passwordless. I'm going to increase the text here so you can see better. Okay. So Meteor create passwordless Twilio SMS. Okay, created. I'm going to cd to it, and I'm going to open my web store window here. Okay, I have it there. Let's open it. Okay, so if you see here, Meteor have created a lot of things for us, but this is the main file for your package. So it's like the skeleton. So inside package.js, we're going to define what is our name of our package, which package it depends on, which version of Meteor it uses, so which files are going to include in which architecture. So right now Meteor added a test file and also a sample file called name, and it's just doing an example saying that if you export something from this file here, you can import it here. Okay, but we are not going to use this. I'm going to wipe it. Okay. Then let's see. Our main module is this file, but my package is just going to be used in the server. So I'm just going to say to Meteor that my main module is a server own file. Okay, so let's go back to our file. I'm going to wipe this out. Okay, so I'm just going to say that to you, but you can check the code if you want. So we have this hook in the new passwordless package. So we are talking about passwordless a lot, but you can check it out in our newest beta. So it's Meteor 2.5 beta 3. So you can check it out and also try it and start developing with it. So we have this hook inside our package that inside it, when Felipe showed it to us the thing about sending an email, I'm going to show you here the Meteor code. Let's just find it. Okay, so it's a simple code, right? So we check if with this hook, if we should send an email. This code is inside the passwordless package. Okay?
Renan, they are still asking to increase the font size. I don't know if you changed the.
I did. It's 24, but I'll increase it.
Yeah, because of in the live, it's not like.
Is it better?
Please say if it's okay, William, and also Michael or Ricardo. Go ahead.
Okay, let me know. I'll be talking and you can interrupt me anytime. Okay, so here's the logic. We check if there is a onCreate login token hook. We call it. And if the return is true, we send the email. Okay, so what you can do to override this behavior. So the default behavior is to send an email. Okay, but then we have to override this hook here. I'm going to do it right here. And this hook is going to be called with the following parameters: the token and the user ID. We need both. Okay, so what we're going to do, we are going to return false because we don't want to send emails anymore, because we're going to send it over SMS. So we are not even going to ask for the email address. Okay, so then we are going to find the user because we only have the user ID. So meteor users find one user ID. Okay, so now we have the user. And then we're going to get the code from Twilio here. Okay, we're going to copy here. So I'm not going into details on how to set this up, but it's really, really simple. It's that simple. You're just going to buy a phone, I think. They're even going to give you credits. And we're going to paste it here. Okay, it does require the Twilio library. How we're going to do it? We're going to install the npm library called Twilio inside our package. Okay, so there we go to another thing that you might not be aware. So how do we get a package inside a package? So like an npm package inside a Meteor package, we use npm depends. Okay, we use npm depends and we call Twilio. Then we get the version. I'm just going to use npm.js. Okay. Video to see what is the latest version. Okay, Twilio is on 3.69.0, and I'm pasting. Okay, here, this is how we need to do to import a package, to add a package to our package. All right, so then we're not going to use it like this. We're going to import it. Okay. Okay, so it gave to us some things here. The to parameter, and here we need to get the user phone. So I'm going to say to you that I'm going to use the username as a phone number. You can trust me, but we're going to show the code for this later. Okay, so Felipe showed how to use an email here, but we're going to use the username as a selector in the part that he said about selector. Okay, I'm going to use my messaging service SID. That's a Twilio thing that's only for my account. Okay, and then for the body, I'm going to paste a string I have here. Okay, so for login, use this token. Okay, token is the parameter we have inside our.
Renan, let me just recap a little bit so everybody's in the same page. Like what Renan is doing here, he's not still working like in the level that you can see. Like it's not something in the UI. Renan is just replacing the way that the account's passwordless package decides if he's going to send an email or not. That's why we return false there. I'm just repeating what Renan said to try to be clear here so everybody understand what we are doing. Like we're replacing, like this code usually is going to be called and sending the emails later. So Renan is going to say, okay, don't proceed with the email. That's why we return false, because I'm going to provide a way to send the tokens. So you can take advantage of the token generation, everything that Meteor is doing, and you are just going to replace the way to send the token for the user. You could send the token even in paper, right? Like you could put a expire date like really high, and you could send in a letter so they could receive in the email, in the actual email, the email box, and they could, yeah.
If there's
So like
two
you could
around.
replace with anything. Like we chose to show SMS here because I think it's very common, but you could do everything. And another good example here is that a lot of time people are thinking like, oh, can I use this npm package with Meteor? And the answer, like 99% of the time, is yes. Like Meteor is just JavaScript in the client and nodejs in the server. So Renan just copy and paste the code from Twilio, and Twilio doesn't have a code like, oh, copy this for Meteor, but they have for nodejs, and it's the same because Meteor is nodejs. So just to highlight these two important aspects of this code.
Yeah, exactly. And also that gets us to a point. So when should I create an npm package and when should I create an atmosphere package, a meteor package? Like if you see here, a meteor package seems like magic, but they are not. So this file is going to be automatically added to our server. So the user, if they want to use SMS to send passwordless, they don't need to do anything. They just have this package that we are going to create here. So they're just going to give a meteor add, passwordless Twilio SMS, and then things are going to work, okay? So they might need some configuration because right here I'm going to do so. These strings have to be configured. So this string, and this string have to be in the settings, but that's also very easy to do, okay? Let's get an example. So if I want this to be a real package, I want to get this from the meteor settings, okay? It needs to be inside package. That's just a common thing we do, that store the settings inside a package string. So I'm going to get a scratch here so we can talk about this. It's easier to understand. Get JavaScript. Okay, so you have a meteor settings that you run with meteor-dash settings, your setting JSON, okay? And here in our package, we have access to that. So if we're going to get meteor.settings.package, that could be something like, this is the settings file, and then we have package, and then we have the package name, passwordless Twilio SMS. And then we have the properties we want to define, okay? Then we can set here like account SID, right? Then the user, when he wants to use your package, he just needs to define this in the settings folder. Sorry. Okay, got it? All right, so I'm not sure if I'm going to go with the settings approach. Maybe I'm going to, okay?
I think you can just paste the tokens there.
Yeah, I think it's easier, okay.
Yeah, but you understand, like, you should not paste tokens and IDs in your code.
Exactly.
Use the settings.
Do not show live tokens on lives. So this is just a trial. Don't be worried about myself, okay? So here we go. I think I have everything here. Okay, so I think we are done. Right, I just need to import some other things here. Import accounts. Okay. I think I will also need to add accounts here. Okay, so here when we say API use, we say that we want to use this package inside our package. So we are depending on this package. So when we add our package, it's going to add them too. Okay, but we need the passwordless package. So the passwordless account, passwordless. And in turn, the passwordless package depends on the account space and our other accounts package. Okay, but it's good to understand that, because when you are developing your package with Meteor, most of the times you're going to depend on external NPM package or atmosphere package or Meteor package, as we say.
And by the way, I think you need to change the version in the line 18,
yeah.
Because this package is only available in the beta yet, not in the final version yet.
Yeah, I'm going to get a version from 2.5 beta 3. Okay. You can also easily check out our betas. So just a quick information, it's not exactly our theme, but you can use like meteor update dash release and get the beta running in your application. Or you can also change the release file site .meteor. Okay, just a quick information for you. Okay, I think we're done here. There's nothing more to do. As you saw, it's really easy. Okay, and okay, so let's try. First of all, I'm going to open a really ugly example I have here. It's just okay, let me get it here. Okay, I think it's running. Right, okay. You can see my screen. It's a really ugly example.
This is why I prefer to use Tailwind. But anyway,
yeah, exactly. Well, when we were talking about it, Philip said, "Oh, the screen is really ugly," and I do agree with him. But it's a dev screen, so you have to let it go. Okay, guys. So phone here, just a login page. It does nothing. It asks for a token, but it's not working right now. You can see the user is not logged in. Okay, because we have done nothing.
Increase the font in the console so people can. Yeah, thank you.
Right, so let's see the code here for this app. We have app. It's exactly the same thing Felipe showed it to us, but it's simpler. Okay, we get the user using user tracker. We check the user to show the login or a welcome. Okay, and then here we have a form that's all this code you would have to do if you hasn't created the package that accounts React thing. So it's something like that. You create a form and react to the flows we have here. So they type a phone number. We set the phone in our state. I'm not going to get into details here, but the important part is here. We request the token for the user. But here is a quick hack. So we are setting a selector username equals phone. Okay, so we are passing the phone as the username for creating a new user, for requesting a login token for the user. So with this, you can use almost anything you want in the key for locating the user, for sending SMS, for sending WhatsApp. You can also use Twitter for WhatsApp if you want that. Okay, so it's really flexible because the username can be anything. So it has to be unique for sure because that's a username thing. But apart from that, you can use it for anything. So we are going to use it for start the phone. Okay. So
yeah, there is another way that I already did in a Meteor app. Like you can also use ID in this selector, and maybe you could implement like a method call to have some like custom logic to decide which is the user, maybe a combination of phone and email. Like you can customize the way you want, but this is not different from any other like accounts package. They already have the same tools because you are using exactly the same find by query. So it's the same. Like you don't need to, if you already are familiar with other packages, this package is going to work the same way.
yeah, exactly the same thing. And all the hooks are also available. The accounts hooks for account own user create and all the other things for accounts. It's available here in this package.
Oh, sorry. Ricardo is also correcting us because we are not native speakers and you are saying SMS. And Ricardo is saying that they use text message. Okay.
Oh, all right.
All the time that you
Makes sense.
hear like SMS,
I'll
use
replace. Yeah, I'll do a replace in my head like, with the text message. That's not going to be easy, but let's try. Okay, so we are going to pass the phone as the user. Let's go back to our package and see. Here we have the user.username. We already used this hack here, so it has to be the same in both sides. Otherwise, we're going to get another field that doesn't make any sense. Okay, so here we have everything working, but what we don't have our package. So how do we test local package? It's a thing you need to know because we are going to use it. And if you're developing package, you're going to use it a lot. So for testing local package, what do? You create a new directory called package inside your project folder. And then what I like to do is create a symbolic link. Okay. Why symbolic links? Because you don't need to edit the folder that is inside your package, inside your project, sorry. So what we are going to do, we're going to link the folder of our package inside the package slash your project, your package folder, okay? So let's see which is, okay, I got the package directory and I'm going to do the link. Okay, here you go. So we have the passwordless Twilio SMS here inside our package. And everything I change here in this other folder is going to reflect in my app because it's the same files in there. Okay, so what we do now, we go back one folder and then we do a meteor add passwordless Twilio SMS. As simple as that. So everything you are going to test, you can test it locally before submitting to Atmosphere. You can also do the cohorts alternative. That's like you test our package, but not linked to a project, and you publish to Atmosphere. You go bump the version in your project, test, correct anything, push to Atmosphere, but this is better. Okay, so here we go. We have everything working. It's still running. I'm going to restart it.
Again, let me do a quick recap. So Renan is creating a package, but this package is not on Atmosphere. So he's creating like a symbolic link so he can use the package right away. And always remember to add the package. It's not because the package is inside the packages folder that's going to be loaded. Meteor just loads packages that are in the packages file. So you need to use Meteor add to be able to use the package. But that's very simple. And you can do this with core packages, with any package that you want to test locally, like overwriting it. You can do the same strategy as Renan is doing here.
Exactly. That's a good tip if you want to do a fork for another package, or if you want to edit something in a package, you get it inside our package folder. So if you don't want to actually submit a pull request or anything like that, you can also make copies. So you can also add another package here and just version it inside our project. I don't like that approach because you can have a lot of packages, but it's our call. Okay, it's just possible with Meteor. Okay, so let's get going. Okay, we're going to open it also just to observe the errors. Okay, so I'm going to type my phone. We are not masking anything right now, but I type my phone here.
You can say it's spans to Renan right now. You can send a message.
So just don't please send me pizza. Okay, let's see in our. All right, seems like it worked. So because it outputted the SMS, but let's see if it actually worked.
Do you have your phone connected?
Yeah, I'm here on AirDroid. I have my phone connected. I have a lot of spams here. If you see in my SMS, people send me card to buy. I think AirDroid is logged. I'll just refresh. Okay.
Where is this? This is a way to synchronize your messages? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's a really great app that you can pass files, images, and whatever inside your Android phone. Okay, so here is my entire text message story. Okay, so here it is. My last message sent from your Twilio trial account. For login, use this token. So this text, we did it. We set it inside our package. I have my token. We place it here. Let's see. Log it in, and here I am. Okay. Let's check if that is actually true. Okay, so I'm logged in. Right? That was that simple, right? You have to agree with me because we did that really simple with just some lines of code, and we are sending SMS. Okay, so that's the beauty of Meteor accounts, and that's not because I'm doing this live. Go ahead.
I have a question. Are you sending SMS or are you sending text messages?
Oh yeah. Right, text message. Sorry, I'd say the text message. SMS is way harder. Okay, so
We still have time for questions, and we also have time if you want,
yeah,
like, oh, can you do this or could you do that? Like, this was the idea to show that it's not that hard to create a Meteor package as Renan just created. Like, the last piece that is missing now is just to run Meteor publish dash dash create, and then you can create a new package, and everybody could use the same implementation. Of course, in this case, Renan just put the credentials there, but as Renan showed, like, you should use Meteor settings, so it will be ready. Like, maybe it's not production ready because you need to test a few edge cases and so on, but at least in general, like, the idea is complete, like, it's doing the work. Maybe you shouldn't just like try to optimize a little bit. How to publish it to Atmosphere? Yes, the only next step to publish to Atmosphere is really like Meteor Meteor space publish space dash dash create. Like, you don't need to do anything else, and Meteor is going to take care of everything for you. And you can also go to Atmosphere.
a step you need to do before is create an account inside Atmosphere, but apart from it, it's just that.
Yeah, you just need to have a Meteor account, and I can share my screen. Elise, can you put my screen in the video? Also, we have this nice documentation if you go to Atmosphere menu and publishing, and then we explain like exactly what I said, like to create a package like Renan did, and then to publish a package. We also provide some instructions like when you should create a package, when you should like help in another package, how you like do if you find a package that is not maintained anymore. So we have a lot of instructions here, so you can learn it. And even this part of the symbolic link, I can increase my font a little bit. There is also this explanation here, how to use symbolic links to test your package. So everything you should know about packages you can find here. And if you want to know more, like more advanced topics around this, we also have this page where we explain the package.js file. That is the main file inside a package. So it explains like what is on use, what is version from, where is everything. So you can read here, but it's more advanced. Like, maybe you don't need to do this in general. Usually it's not easy enough to just check out their packages and you can see, okay, that's how I do it. And then you can just do the same way. But if you have questions, maybe you have the answers for all your questions. Okay, Ia is asking a question. Is the code from this string going to be published anywhere? Yeah, I think so. Like, my code was really simple because I just add like a package, like I just put like passwordless and that was it. But I think Renan, we are probably going to publish this package as a package for people to consume. Maybe need to just polish a few things, maybe add some tests.
Yeah.
But we are planning to
add it to settings and everything, and so we're going to publish it. So the error handling needs to be done better, because in your example, you just console log it, but you might need to return the error and do some logic about it. But yeah, it's pretty much done.
Yeah, but we are going to publish it. And also, if you want to try accounts passwordless, remember that it is still in beta. So you need to use 2.5-beta.3. And this version, we are going to increase the beta, but we hope to have this ready like in 1 or 2 weeks. So we are going to have the final version of Meteor 2.5. And also another important change in Meteor 2.5 is the Android support. We are upgrading the support to the latest requirements on the Google Play Store. So you can also, if you have an Android app with Meteor, you should be paying attention and providing feedback in this beta because it's a big upgrade that we are doing there. But it's also ready. We are just waiting for more feedbacks to release the final version.
Yeah, one thing that I wanted to mention is that in my package that I saw, I did something wrong. I gave it a name without any username before it. So most of the times when creating a package, you should append your username or a handle or anything like username, columns, package name. Okay, so like exactly like what Filipe is showing.
Just core packages, they can have just the name. Like all the other packages, you need to have like your username. So if you're gonna try to publish the way that he was doing, he's going to receive an error, say, "Oh, that's not allowed. You need to use a namespace," and so on.
Exactly.
I know we have a little bit of delay, so we can wait a little bit if you have more questions. You can ask any question. Like if you don't have questions about this live, you have a question about like another package, or you have a question about Meteor. Like we are used to do these calls with clients where they can ask anything. So I think we can handle it. Maybe not.
We can for sure search for you.
Yeah, let's wait 1 more minute. And if you don't have questions, you can wrap up here. And maybe just do a quick recap so everybody's in the same page. Okay, let me start with a recap. So first, I show you like a package that I create for my personal project that is using a core package inside it. Then I show how easy it is to create an authentication flow with Meteor without password. Then Renan start to create a different flow using SMS, creating another package. And then we put this new package inside a new application as well. Okay, we have a question. Frederico Maia is asking, what are the big news for Meteor Impact? Oh, we are not in Meteor Impact yet. But I believe we have a cool feature to announce there, probably in a beta phase, but it's going to be good. Next question. Can you do a triple backflip? No, I don't know even what is that. I think it's like in Portuguese would be a mortal para trás, I believe, but I'm not sure.
Triple, that's too hard.
Yeah. Is the source code of the package on Atmosphere public? Is it possible to make it private? Yes, Charlie. For now, the only option that you have when you publish to Atmosphere is to have public code. We have discussed already a few options to have like private packages, but usually the community like was okay, maybe that's cool, but I don't think it's worth it. So for now, we don't have any way to have private packages. Usually what the company does is that they have the packages on GitHub, because as you showed, you can just use the packages like to have like the packages folder inside the app. And there is also another way that's called package tiers. So if you put a package tiers in your environment, so Meteor can also load packages from there. So that's what most of the companies that use a lot of share packages, they do. They use this package tiers so they can load packages from a different directory, so they don't need to publish to Atmosphere, because of course in Atmosphere it's going to be public. Also, a nice thing about Atmosphere that most of people don't know, Atmosphere is just a front end. Like actually the package, they live in a place that's called Troposphere, but Troposphere is something that you can't see, so that's why you have Atmosphere. Like Troposphere is when you're interacting with the command line, so Atmosphere is just a way for you to visualize the packages in a nice way, but the packages are not there actually. It's not important, but I would like to talk about this. Philip, how is the rate of use of Meteor around the world? Is increasing? Yeah, it's kind of hard to say like it's increasing or not, because we don't track everything. Now that we have a new way to install Meteor, maybe it's going to be a little bit easier, because we're not tracking like everything that's happening around the Meteor. What I can say for sure is like Meteor Cloud is growing. So Meteor Cloud is growing for many months already. So that's a good sign, because usually like you start an app, then you start to develop the app. So we start to think about publishing it because it's ready. So like Meteor Cloud, I know it's growing because we have, of course, all the numbers. But like the community in general, it's kind of hard to have the exactly feeling. But I believe it's still growing, because I can see the numbers. I can see like forums, like a lot of beginners are asking questions in the forums in the last weeks. So we can see like there are new people using and trying Meteor, and that's what we want to promote. And also we are going to see a new wave of core packages, and always our idea is going to be reduce your code. Like if you need to write like 10 lines of code today to create an account implementation, we are going to try to reduce that. As I showed you, like to create a passwordless, I just use like one line and one callback function. So our goal moving forward is to reduce the lines of code that you need to type as a developer. And that was kind of the magic of Meteor, like in the early days, right? It was really, really easy. Like we had the Blaze packages where you could configure the keys even in the UI. So one of our goals is to bring back this magic. And we are going to do this. And I think the passwordless is one of these. We also have the working on the email package, like simplifying the way to send the email. So that's our goal in terms of like to try to increase adoption, is to make easier to use Meteor It's already easier than most of the technologies that you have, but I think we can do better. You can create better packages, update our packages as well.
Exactly.
Yeah,
so go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was going to talk that we have a lot of things. We're thinking a lot of things for Cordova, so we want to make easier for you to develop mobile apps. So, like what we showed here, you can do passwordless, and with Meteor, you can easily add a new platform like Android or iOS, and you can wrap up into mobile with Cordova app. Okay, so we know that some things are not easy, but if you were from the native world, you know it's way, way, way easier. But it's not in the ideal way. But we're going to give new package and new tools for you to just get working with native image, videos, universal links, push notifications. Okay, so stay tuned, and also Meteor Impact. I'm going to give you a call about push notifications and things like that. So it's really easy, and we're going to make it better.
Yeah, people are commenting here about the npm downloads, but like npm is just a new installer that you released like 2 or 3 weeks ago. So people are still not using it because like even us, we are not using this everywhere in our internal scripts. So like the downloads that is just like people that are probably learning Meteor because they, how I install Meteor, then they install. Because if you already have Meteor in your machine, you don't need to install never again. Like you just need to update, but you don't need to use the installer. So like this kind of weekly downloads on npm is just a measure for like first new installs, but it's just there for like 3 weeks, I believe. So it's not that reliable in terms of usage because you just install Meteor one time and then you don't need to use this npm package never again. But okay, it's a good number that it's growing, but it's just new. Like even us, we are not using like all the time. So we are going to migrate our scripts, and people are also going to migrate. But also remember that it's just like the first installation. So if you install Meteor one time, you don't need to install anymore. Just if you buy a new machine or whatever. So it's not that reliable in terms of usage. And IA, the other IA, because you always have multiple IAs. So IA Kapunti, I don't know how to say your name, IA. I know you, but I don't know how to say your name. But GitHub stars is also constantly growing. Yeah, usually we have a few robots that are tracking, like, and sometimes they mention Meteor, say, oh, Meteor surpassed this framework, or Meteor surpassed, like, again, like I'm not a fan of these metrics because they are very, it's very just a number, right? You can ask for a bunch of people to add more stars. You can trick the system, but in general, yes, the stars also are also growing. Yep. 2 more minutes. With the delay, maybe we have 30 seconds. Last question.
Yeah, you can also suggest live stream themes or things you want to see in the chats.
Leonardo is also talking about the DevTools. For those who don't know that, Leonardo is the creator of this new version of the DevTools, and the DevTool reached like 3.4 thousand downloads last week. And also, DevTools is not everybody. Like, I don't know why, but it's very surprising. Many times I'm in a call with the client and I mention the DevTools and they have no idea this exists. It's probably our fault. I don't know. We are not announcing enough, but like a lot of people, they don't know the DevTools exists, and the DevTools help a lot. Like I use the DevTools all the time to check what's going on with Minimongo, DDP message, and so on. Okay, guys, we have 1 more minute. Elise is already saying thank you to everybody. So I think that's the right time for us to wrap up here. And as Renan said, please suggest new ideas for our lives. We want to do this more often. Like I think it was a long time without any lives about Meteor. So we want to do more often. And your ideas are important, so you can have more content to share. But you want to share something that's like useful to you. So please share your ideas, what you want to learn, what is hard with Meteor, so you can provide more content to you. Can you give us a sneak peek on what we will present to Impact? Not yet. But I talk a little bit about it here, but I didn't say that I was talking about the same topic, so you don't know. But not yet. We can see this in 3 weeks.
It's a mystery.
Okay, guys. And thank you, Renan. Renan is the guy to create packages and to do everything that you need. Thank you. Have a nice night. Bye-bye.
See you, everyone. Thanks.